WrestleMania's past. Up next on this WrestleMania train down memory lane, we go to WrestleMania 10 in New York City, and the first ladder match to ever take place at WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels captured his first Intercontinental Championship with a big win over the British Bulldog on Saturday night's main event in the fall of 1992. But in the fall of 1993, Michaels would be stripped of the championship due to inactivity. As the Heartbreak Kid watched from the sidelines, Razor Ramon would capture the vacant championship. At the 1993 Survivor Series, Michaels would announce that he was back and that he only had one mission: to humiliate Razor Ramon, who he considered to be a fake champion. Having never been defeated in the ring, HBK still believed he was the rightful Intercontinental Champion.
There is only one undisputed Intercontinental Champion, and it is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Never one to back down from a fight, Ramon was more than ready to face Michaels anytime, any place. But Shawn wanted to play games with the bad guy, interfering in his matches and even performing Ramon's vaunted Razor's Edge finisher to taunt him. Shawn was also very open about relying on his 7-foot monster of a bodyguard, Diesel, to help him get through any tough situations. WWE officials, forced with figuring out how to decide who the true Intercontinental Champion was, came to a decision. Both championship titles would be suspended above the ring in a ladder match. The winner would be the first superstar able to incapacitate their opponent long enough to climb the ladder, grab both championships, and finally settle the issue once and for all. This matchup would see both men use everything they could to stop the other, including the ladder repeatedly. It was used as a battering ram, even as a perch from which to dive for a huge splash. Both Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels laid it all on the line in this epic clash, leaving everyone breathless with each new flurry of offense. So, you're gonna have to do your best to deal with not only a Mr. WrestleMania who wants his Intercontinental Championship, but also with the menacing Diesel at ringside. Stay focused, and maybe you'll be oozing enough machismo to climb that ladder of success. One of WrestleMania's greatest collisions comes to its scintillating conclusion with Razor Ramon just managing to outlast Shawn Michaels, claiming possession of the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 10. The ladder match would open the door for future classics, like the TLC and Money in the Bank matches as well, forever sealing its place in WrestleMania lore. Our next match is another legendary moment that will live forever, as we head to WrestleMania 13. Rosemont, Illinois would play host to the most important night on the sports entertainment calendar. And on this night, a match that is the literal definition of an all-time classic unfolded. Bret Hart had been the face of WWE's new generation for years, proudly defending the WWE Championship against all comers and defending WWE's honor against its most heinous villains. After losing the WWE Championship to Shawn Michaels in WrestleMania 12's Iron Man match, the Hitman took some time off to consider his future options. When he returned, roughly 6 months later, there were drastic changes to the landscape of WWE's universe. Top among those was the rise of Stone Cold Steve Austin. The man who started the year off as Ted DiBiase's ringmaster would find freedom in his true identity, dropping his manager and finding superstardom in the wake of his 1996 King of the Ring tournament victory.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
WWE was trying to find its attitude, but the seeds of change were being planted in the fans who had rallied around Austin. His no-nonsense attitude had made him the ultimate anti-hero. This acceptance of someone who flaunted his breaking of the rules didn't sit right with the Hitman. When Bret made his return, he immediately challenged Austin, who was more than ready to answer the call. The two battled at 1996's Survivor Series, where Hart won in a masterful performance of a feverish back-and-forth battle. The loss only made Austin angrier, creating a single focus for him: to ruin Bret Hart's career. He'd eliminate Hart from the 1997 Royal Rumble match after officials missed Hart first eliminate Austin. The night after Hart captured the WWE Championship at Final Four, Austin would interfere in Hart's first defense on Raw, ending the reign before it could even get started. WWE officials would pit the rivals against each other in a no disqualification submission match. The loser would be forced to admit they were defeated by the better combatant. To make sure that order would be maintained, a special referee was assigned: the world's most dangerous man and former MMA champion, Ken Shamrock. And while Hart had the edge in submission wrestling, Austin was no slouch in that department. And he also had one other thing going for him: his promise to the world that he would never in a million years give up. Once the match started, these two unleashed months of hatred on one another. We were lucky enough to talk to the Rattlesnake himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin, to get his thoughts on this classic encounter.
A lot of people think that the WrestleMania 13 match between myself and Bret the Hitman Hart is one of the best of all time. Certainly one of the best in all of WrestleMania. To me, it's a very special match because everything happened so magically, and specifically WrestleMania 13 cemented the legacy of who and what Stone Cold Steve Austin was. From start to finish, we started it off, we brawled out, we came back into the ring, we brought various factors from around the ring into the ring to use against each other. Some of the stuff backfired on me. It was full of chills, thrills, and spills. I gotta call a spade a spade. I mean, it is my favorite all-time match, and I've been to some classics.
Always an honor to get to pick the brain of one of WWE's top-level legends. Thank you again to Stone Cold for talking with us about WrestleMania 13. Now it's on you to try and find a way to take out WWE's toughest SOB. Remember, there are no disqualifications, so use whatever you can, and maybe you'll find a way to get him to surrender. I just wouldn't recommend messing with the referee. Shamrock's ankle lock is nasty.
You rock. I need it more than anything that you can ever imagine.
When you headline an event, you know, you've got to be on top of your game, be in the best of your game to put on a show and to warrant that main event status.
Austin was going to do everything he could to guarantee the nearly 68,000 attending in his home state of Texas would not be disappointed. The People's Champ had other ideas. He had worked hard while Austin was out to establish himself as the man in WWE. And the opportunity to prove his status with this WrestleMania rematch had the Brahma Bull almost bursting at the seams. If anything was for sure, it was that The Rock would do one thing, and one thing only.
Just bring it!
He'd been through the battles, he'd come into his own, nothing was handed to him, he earned it all, and he turned himself into the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. At no point in time in wrestling history were two stars, two wrestlers, as hot as both I was and The Rock was. It's hard to explain why we're such good opponents. We just were.
So now it's time for you to head into one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time, WrestleMania 17 in 2001. A night that serves as the pinnacle of the Attitude Era's excellence, with its two biggest names doing battle once again. Are you ready to open up a can on The Rock? Or will you find out that going one-on-one with the Great One isn't the electrifying opportunity it appears to be. One of the most stunning endings in WrestleMania history sees Stone Cold Steve Austin align with Mr. McMahon to regain the WWE Championship. WrestleMania 17 was in many ways the last stand for WWE's Attitude Era. Steve Austin and Triple H formed a two-man power trip as an impending invasion from WCW and ECW would forever alter WWE. So much talent in one spot would lead to the brand split and a new era, one of ruthless aggression. And at WrestleMania 20, WWE returned to its roots in New York City, proudly featuring two ring generals competing for the WWE Championship, with Eddie Guerrero defending against Kurt Angle. From his arrival to WWE in late 1999, Kurt Angle was an absolute natural in a WWE ring. His rookie year would see him capture the European, Intercontinental, and WWE Championships, an astounding accomplishment. The Olympic gold medalist always used his three I's: intensity, integrity,
and intelligence,
to either be a champion or to be competing for a championship. Angle lost the WWE Championship to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 19 in Seattle and looked for the opposite result at WrestleMania 20. Carrying months of resentment, Kurt looked to right the wrongs as he challenged for the championship. Despite coming from a legendary wrestling family, Eddie would not receive the path to instant stardom that his opponent did. Instead, he worked his way up from Mexico to ECW and then to WCW before finally earning a chance with WWE. It took him years to finally realize his dream, and once he had, Eddie did everything he could to keep it. In 2004, Eddie won a 15-man mini Royal Rumble that granted him a match against Brock Lesnar at No Way Out for the WWE Championship. The last man he eliminated? Yep, Kurt Angle. Still, at this point, the two appeared to be on friendly terms, even if the disappointment was obvious for Kurt. And at No Way Out in San Francisco, Eddie would achieve the impossible, defeating Brock Lesnar to finally hold the WWE Championship.
It was Eddie Guerrero's time. It was his time to show that he was a top performer. So I knew Eddie was on a roll, and I knew my work was cut out for me.
Angle was victorious in a triple threat match to be named the #1 contender. On the surface, it seemed all was well. Two fantastic competitors who would battle to see who was better. But it turned out that Kurt Angle had been seething ever since that 15-man Rumble. And with his match set, he struck. Attacking Eddie while working as a special guest referee, Angle went ballistic on Latino heel.
I felt the need to beat Eddie Guerrero, not just beat him, but beat him up and try to hurt him.
The tone was set. This was not about competition or athletic pursuit. This was about a former champion desperate to reclaim his throne, and a new champion who wasn't going to let anyone take his dreams away from him. Now it's time for you to put Kurt Angle in the silver medal position and find a way to retain Eddie Guerrero's WWE Championship at WrestleMania. But if you're not careful, Kurt's gonna grab that ankle, and you'll have two choices: tap or snap. Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat himself, showing that he did indeed know all the tricks needed to defeat Kurt Angle. Whoever thought that a loose boot could ever be so helpful? A fantastic win in a very special matchup, and Eddie Guerrero remains WWE Champion at WrestleMania 20. For our next match, we go to the very next year, and WrestleMania 21 in Los Angeles, California. The card was loaded from top to bottom and would feature the first WWE and World Championship victories for two guys named John Cena and Batista. Ever heard of them? But also on this night, a dream match of the highest order was set to take place. Folks, the issue between Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle blew up so quickly and so unexpectedly. It all started at the 2005 Royal Rumble match. After falling short in a WWE Championship match earlier in the night, Angle would steal someone else's number, looking for one last chance at a WWE Championship. Shawn Michaels also had dreams of headlining another WrestleMania, and winning the Rumble match was the only place to do that. Shawn was number 19, while Kurt entered at 20. And Angle was a whirlwind of offense once he hit the ring. But it was to be short-lived, as Michaels would stun the crowd and eliminate Angle only 37 seconds after his arrival on the scene. Kurt went ballistic, attacking Shawn and eliminating him from the Rumble. A dream match that could headline any card. Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels was not going to be about stealing the show or making memories.
My issue with you goes all the way back to 1996. I won a gold medal. And people are talking to me about some guy named Shawn Michaels gliding down from the rafters that year and putting on a wrestling clinic.
Kurt would reveal an obsession with proving himself superior to Michaels in every way possible, which included defeating former partners of Michaels, along with delivering an incredible rendition of Sexy Kurt, Angle's version of Shawn Michaels' entrance theme.
I'm just a sexy Kurt. I'll make your ankle hurt. Ankle hurt! Woo!
So with all the stars out in full force for WrestleMania 21, two of the greatest all-around performers in WWE history were finally set to lock horns. And here to provide us with some first-hand insight on this contest, Kurt Angle sat down with us.
WrestleMania is just, you know, it's the most popular sporting event of all time. It's the most important event for any pro wrestler, and when you get there and you're able to perform there, it's a true honor. I consider Shawn Michaels the greatest overall entertainer in the history of the business. Shawn is the type of individual that puts on five-star matches show after show after show. And if you don't have that five-star match with Shawn, then there's something wrong with you. You know you're gonna have to up your game, and you have to be at your very best. Once we locked horns at WrestleMania, the chemistry was there. I just thought that Shawn and I might have had possibly the greatest match of all time.
A true honor. Thank you to Kurt Angle for sharing his thoughts about his sublime encounter with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. With that, it's time for you to show that you've got the intensity, integrity, and intelligence to defeat Shawn Michaels under the brightest lights in sports entertainment. You know Mr. WrestleMania will be looking for every opportunity to stop you in your tracks with a little sweet chin music if you get too reckless. To rest in peace. As badly as the WWE Universe wanted to see Shawn Michaels against The Undertaker, it seems that the two WWE legends wanted it even more, both giving it everything they had, both using some old tricks and some new ones. But ultimately, it ended as all of Undertaker's WrestleMania matches had to that point, a tombstone and a huge win. But Nothing lasts forever, and Undertaker was about to learn this very painful lesson courtesy of Brock Lesnar. Oh yeah, you already know what this is about. Send Undertaker's streak spinning? Would Undertaker find a way to send yet another opponent to rest with the other lost souls? You're going to have to step into the most intimidating scenario in WWE history. Competing against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. You managed to protect the streak earlier. Can you now bring it to an end and leave everyone in attendance speechless? Quite possibly the most jaw-dropping result in WrestleMania history. The Undertaker streak ends at the hands of Brock Lesnar. The looks on the faces of those in attendance told us everything. Nobody saw this coming. Our next match takes us to the greater Bay Area of Northern California and WrestleMania 31 in 2015. Seth Rollins had been on top of the world ever since he decided to leave the Shield behind to do the bidding of the Authority. This move paid off instantly as he'd capture the Money in the Bank briefcase in July of 2014. Rollins was untouchable, protected by those in power, and with the knowledge that at any moment he could turn that briefcase into the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. All seemed to be well within the ranks of the Authority, but the harmony would not last long. Randy Orton, who had been the Authority's top hand until Rollins joined the ranks, didn't seem so happy with the favoritism his former rival was now enjoying. This would come to a head with Rollins attacking Orton following a tag team match, connecting with his vaunted stomp to make it clear that their association was now over. The Viper was furious, attempting to get revenge, but never quite finding it. Another stomp from Rollins would force Orton out of action for a few months, with Rollins bragging about his actions the entire time. But at Fastlane in February of 2015, Orton would make his return following a six-man tag featuring Rollins, delivering RKOs to everyone who got in his way. But as luck would have it, Rollins would manage to escape unharmed. Orton made it clear he wanted one thing, and one thing only: Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Orton wanted to show the Authority they made a huge error in backing Rollins instead of Orton, and he was going to make an example of their new Golden Boy. The pressure's on. Can you humble Seth Rollins in front of an enormous WrestleMania audience, or will this legend be the one you can't kill? The Stomp meets the RKO. Next, Seth Rollins crashes to earth with one of the most famous RKOs ever, ending his quest for victory. A statement win for Randy Orton, but Seth Rollins wasn't done yet. Later that same evening, Brock Lesnar would take part in a match that had another surprising conclusion. The WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Brock had used his victory over Undertaker at WrestleMania 30 to get a championship match against John Cena at SummerSlam 2014, taking the title from Cena in a scary display of dominance. Since that victory, Brock had steamrolled everyone put in front of him, including an impressive defense of the title at the 2015 Royal Rumble against both Cena and Seth Rollins. It did not matter who stood across from Lesnar. He was going to eat, sleep, suplex, repeat his way to victory after victory. Roman Reigns capitalized on his growing momentum by winning the 2015 Royal Rumble, punching his ticket to take on the WWE World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania 31. The future tribal chief knew that he was destined to become WWE World Heavyweight Champion, showing no fear or intimidation in the presence of Lesnar. In a completely unexpected twist, something took place during that match that turned everything upside down. During a moment that saw both Lesnar and Reigns down on the mat, it would be the music of Seth Rollins that would hit, as he would be cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase. And just like that, a one-on-one contest became a triple threat. To tell us more about what some consider to be the greatest cash-in ever, we have the visionary himself, Seth Rollins.
For WWE superstars, for myself especially, WrestleMania is everything. We work year-round, tirelessly, grinding, sacrificing. Every year you get ready to put on the best show. You want everything to peak at the right time because you know that that moment is going to be the most watched, witnessed moment of the entire year. And if you do it right, you can create something that's bigger than you and in some ways transcends our entire industry. I had my sights set on the main event of WrestleMania for some time, though. I just needed the perfect opportunity to make sure that the cash-in was a success. When it's all said and done, if I'm remembered for nothing else, I will live forever in that moment.
Big thanks to Seth Rollins for giving us the time to talk about WrestleMania 31 and the cash-in heard around the world. Now it's up to you to figure out how you're going to walk out of this incredible encounter with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. They've built it up, but can you burn it down? History made with Seth Rollins leaving the main event of WrestleMania, a match in which he wasn't even scheduled. The final battle of Triple H and Batista and Kurt Angle's last match, the occasion belonged to Becky Lynch, who ended the night holding both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships high above her head triumphantly, a moment that truly will live forever. Now we jump ahead to WrestleMania 36, the only WrestleMania in history with 0 attendance, a record, and the first to take place on both days of the weekend. It also featured one of the most bizarre matches in the event's existence, the Firefly Funhouse match between The Fiend Bray Wyatt and John Cena. Cena won a hard-fought match against Wyatt at WrestleMania 30 in 2014. A heartbreaking result for Wyatt, who could not handle the failure. He'd rebuild, capturing the WWE Championship, discovering his inner Fiend, and also capturing the Universal Championship. But he never forgot about the pain of that WrestleMania 30 loss. So when Cena showed up on SmackDown after some time away to announce that he would not be competing at WrestleMania 36, The Fiend took the opportunity to persuade him to reconsider. A simple point to the WrestleMania sign was all that was needed to signal the challenge, with Cena tipping his cap to accept it. Wyatt would lay out the conditions. John Cena would have to venture into the Firefly Funhouse if he wanted this match, where he, The Fiend, would be waiting. Not one to ever back down, Cena remained unfazed. Sure, he didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but he had to trust in himself and his skills. Skills that had delivered a victory over this man before. But he knew that this was not going to be easy, and that he was walking into the base of the enemy. And without the voices of the WWE Universe to cheer him on, Cena would have to face the mind games of The Fiend alone, and hope that he was strong enough to survive. But it's up to you to break Cena down and show him that in the Firefly Funhouse, there is no one as powerful as The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Yowie wowie indeed. John Cena fights valiantly, but ultimately succumbs to the powers that exist inside the Firefly Funhouse. And The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, finally avenges a loss that had eaten at him for 6 long years. A total nightmare for John Cena. Many of the matches in the 2K24 showcase are easy dream matches. And as we know, usually a dream match is something that fans talk about, pitting 2 superstars against each other when they know that will never really happen. But at WrestleMania 38, we saw a different variation of what a dream match can be. With a simple invitation, Kevin Owens put the wheels in motion for his personal dream match, one against WWE Hall of Famer, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Asking for Austin to be a guest on the KO show was just step 1. Next was to disparage the state of Texas whenever he had the opportunity.
I've been here for a couple of days, and it's actually worse than I remembered.
And then it was to extend that trash talk to Austin himself. Stone Cold hadn't competed at WrestleMania since a 2003 loss to The Rock at WrestleMania 19, but he still had plenty of fight in him. With WrestleMania 38 taking place in Texas, Austin knew that he had to show up and hit Kevin Owens with whatever he needed to shut his mouth. Whether that was 1 Stone Cold Stunner or 15, it didn't matter to WWE's toughest SOB. We were able to sit down with Kevin Owens to talk about how this all came together.
It was pretty surreal when the video aired of him accepting the challenge. You know, him driving out in the middle of the desert on his four-wheeler or whatever you want to call it, and then hearing him answer me directly and saying,
Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to open up one last can of whoop-ass on you, Kevin Owens.
That threat made me so excited. I was so pumped. Career highlight for sure to have Stone Cold Steve Austin cut a promo on me. As far as WrestleManias go, I think the match with Stone Cold takes the cake as the top spot.
Stunner!
Before I started using the stunner, I'd asked him for permission and advice. I don't know that he told me every secret, to be honest. His stunner is the best, because mine didn't keep him down, but his kept me down, so he's onto something.
19 years in the making!
He trusted me to be a worthy opponent for what was his first match back in 19 years. The fact that he was willing to do that with me, it's a huge, huge compliment.
Always a privilege to get to speak to Kevin Owens, and we thank him for the time. We were also able to capture a little message from Stone Cold himself, who wanted to extend the following to Owens.
Hey, Kevin. I just wanted to say thank you very much for a hell of a night at WrestleMania 38. You motivated me and got me off my ass 19 years removed. And to be able to go back to Dallas, Texas, the city that I started in 1989, and bring everything full circle, it means a lot to me. Being out there in the ring with you was a blast. Taking that suplex on the concrete was a blast. Kevin Owens, you're awesome.
Steve, I appreciate that more than you'll ever know. And now that we're cool, maybe next time we could share a beer with, I have a can in my hand, you have a can in yours, instead of you just taking a swig and spitting it in my face and mouth. You got my number. You used it before WrestleMania to send me insults in the middle of the night. I didn't forget.
They might get along now, but at WrestleMania 38, it was an all-out war. Can you guide Austin to a WrestleMania victory after 19 years away? Or will KO deal out the ultimate insult, winning the match with his own version of the stunner? If you think you've got what it takes, give me a hell yeah. Or end up bowing down to the Queen? Let's go to night one of WrestleMania 39 and find out. The Queen did everything in her power to hold the throne, but a massive riptide off the ropes ends her reign, serving notice to all that Rhea Ripley has ascended to the highest levels of superstardom in WWE. The SmackDown women had delivered a classic, and 24 hours later on night 2, it would be time for the women of Raw to have their opportunity. With two of the most dominant women in WWE history looking to collide, it was now time for Raw Women's Champion, the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair, to defend against the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. Bianca's rise in WWE had been meteoric. After a successful run in NXT, she joined the main roster at WrestleMania 36, and 1 year later would capture the SmackDown Women's Championship in the Night 1 main event of WrestleMania 37. She'd lose to Becky Lynch at SummerSlam 2021, but the two would have their rematch at WrestleMania 38. This time, however, Becky was the Raw Women's Champion after being drafted from SmackDown, which would lead to her relinquishing the SmackDown Women's Championship in exchange for Raw's version. And this time, it was Bianca emerging victorious. Belair's reign would see victories over former women's champions Becky, Bayley, and Alexa Bliss. Truly in her element, no one has been able to find an answer for Bianca Belair, which is what made the world of sports entertainment buzz in anticipation when Asuka emerged from the 2023 Elimination Chamber as the winner, guaranteeing a meeting with Raw's women's champion at WrestleMania 39. When it comes to accomplishments, Asuka has left no stone unturned. NXT Women's Champion, Women's Tag Team Champion, winner of the 2018 Women's Royal Rumble, winner of the 2020 Women's Money in the Bank, held both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships, and of course, her initial undefeated run of 914 days to start her WWE career. Asuka had returned at the 2023 Royal Rumble sporting a new look, seemingly dialing into something even more sinister than her punishing norms. She didn't win that night, but rebounded nicely the next month at Elimination Chamber, securing the meeting with Belair. Would Bianca's strength and athleticism be enough to survive Asuka's submission and kicks? Could Asuka find a way to stop a prime champion who seems unstoppable? Or would Asuka find herself as just the latest former champion to fall victim to Belair's KOD? These were the questions on the minds of the members of the WWE Universe. If you're going to defeat Asuka, it's going to take everything that the EST has in her arsenal. The power advantage is there, and if the KOD connects, it's lights out. But swing for the stars against Asuka and miss? Then it's the mist. You're on your own, against the wall, but we all know that even with the pressure building, you will never fall. Asuka was almost perfect at WrestleMania, and it still wasn't good enough to earn the victory against Bianca Belair. The EST of WWE was able to evade Asuka's poison mist, and we all watched Belair shine when she defeated the Empress of Tomorrow with her patented KOD. For our final WrestleMania match in the Showcase of the Immortals, we go to the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania 39, with Roman Reigns looking to extend a near 950-day reign by defending his undisputed WWE Universal Championship against Cody Rhodes. Reigns had captured the WWE Universal Championship at Payback 2020, defeating any and all challengers. He then upped the stakes at WrestleMania 38, when he defeated Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship in another winner-takes-all matchup, thus creating the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. With the Bloodline watching his back at all times, Reigns would always find a way to escape his matches, still champion. Cody Rhodes had made his triumphant return at WrestleMania 38, appearing as Seth Rollins' mystery opponent and earning a big win. Unfortunately, an injury would take him out of action, but not before an incredibly gutsy performance in Hell in a Cell that saw him defeat Rollins again. At the 2023 Royal Rumble, Reigns would defeat Kevin Owens in a brutal matchup, while Cody Rhodes would make his return to action and win the Rumble match, setting up the WrestleMania main event. Cody had waited for years for this opportunity and swore that he would do everything to finally finish the story and capture the championship that had eluded the Rhodes family.
Whoa. Hold on a second here. What's going on?
Oh, hey, Cody.
Don't hey Cody Megraves. Is 2K pulling a prank on me? Really? I mean, I'm honored to be on the cover and you guys didn't include Stardust, so thanks for that. But this is really what we're doing?
Cody, come on. It's literally the most recent match to ever take place at WrestleMania. And the good folks at 2K thought it was a fine way to wrap this up, and the match itself was pretty fantastic, too.
It was pretty fantastic, wasn't it? Fine. Look, if I learned anything from last year's 2K Showcase, it's that you have to face your losses. At WrestleMania 39, I lost to Roman Reigns. But Corey, I'm telling you, and I'm telling every member of the WWE Universe who plays 2K24, and that includes Roman Reigns, that the next time we do meet, nobody is going to save him, and I'll be the one getting his hand raised.
Besides, you're still on the cover.
And I'm thankful for that, Corey.
Cody Rhodes attempts to finish the story against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39.
There's still another chapter in this story, I promise you.
But for now, we relive the most recent chapter. An absolutely heartbreaking turn of events for Cody Rhodes at the conclusion of last year's WrestleMania. Right when it looked like he had Roman Reigns all but vanquished, but that's for Cody to worry about. You got the win, and you've emerged victorious from all our historical WrestleMania matches. But there's still one last item on our agenda here today, and that's for you to decide who truly is the champion of WrestleMania. We've got a very special WrestleMania Rumble with 29 other superstars hoping to stake their claim to that very title. So take your pick and bring them into the ultimate battle to earn all the bragging rights. With so many legends to choose from, there's really no going wrong. For an event filled with historic performances, you may have just completed the most impressive. 21 victories against WWE's cream of the crop, reliving monumental moments of WrestleMania's past, and even crowning your own personal champion of WrestleMania. You conquered giants, ended streaks, and rewrote stories looking to be finished. You displayed technical brilliance, brawled at ringside, and took to the air, showing mastery all along the way. For those that love sports entertainment, making that walk down the WrestleMania aisle is our biggest dream. Not everyone gets to realize it, but those that do cherish it forever. Hopefully you feel some of that appreciation, having had the chance to take a step in their shoes. There truly is no event like WrestleMania. A weekend where the biggest stars let it all hang out in front of the most voracious fans on the planet. We laugh at WrestleMania. We get angry at WrestleMania. And sure, we absolutely cry at WrestleMania. The grandest stage of them all is not just a clever phrase. This represents the pinnacle of our industry. This is our big game. This is our enormous festival. This is where we show the world that there is no one else that can do what we do. WrestleMania is where the biggest wins are earned, where the biggest memories are made. And this year, with WrestleMania 40,